your first time in a big money tournament, I believe. How are you finding it so far?
This is my second. I played in Seat Story, so I guess
Okay,
this,
sorry.
yeah. Um, but yeah, I mean, I'm just honored to just play anything. I mean, I just want to get my foot in the door as far as competitively, competitive Hearthstone goes. So, I mean, I'm just trying to do my best, learn from my mistakes, missing lethals left and right, but it's all good.
Yeah, you won that one anyway, right? That game at least.
Yeah, yeah.
How are you? Do you think it's an advantage that obviously you want to be in as many of these as possible, but up against some of these players who are in a lot of invites, do you think it's an advantage to have a bit more time to prepare than maybe they have, or is the level so high
Um,
these guys don't need the extra time?
I mean, just experience-wise, they already have the leg up on me. So it really is just about playing. If you're just trying to play competitive Hearthstone, it's really about experience, and that goes just competitive in general. So I mean, the more experience you get playing competitively, then the better you get at the game, obviously. So
Yeah,
that's just,
awesome.
that's just what I'm trying to do right now.
Yeah, it'll be good to see you in your last match, I think, on Monday. So we'll have you on there, and it's great to have you on as a commentator today. So,
Yeah,
in
man,
doing
let's go.
yesterday's play, some pretty good matches yesterday with Zigzo and
Yeah,
Jay
for sure.
playing at the speed of light. Which one are you looking forward to today? We've got Kaldi and Eloise, we've got Eloise JJ, we've got Jay-Z, Just Cyan, JJ and Just Cyan, and we've got Zalay and Just Cyan. Any of those?
I think
Yeah.
JJ Josiah, that's going to be interesting because they're both in the same practice group. Also, Soleil is a player I respect a lot. I'm gonna be eager to see what he brings on the field today because like we haven't seen the new decks from him. Yeah, he had the option to submit new decks now.
Yeah, so what we've had yesterday, players at the 4 game point submitted new decks, and so some of them we have seen because they played yesterday, and some of them we haven't. They do have to play 3 games with these decks, so you can't just submit decks like to beat your first opponent. You have to pick decks that will play 3 games, and I think the first game is underway.
Yes, we're in the first game now. So Eloise is
Okay.
playing mid-range Druid against Kaldi's. It looks like to just be standard mid-range Paladin.
Yeah, Kaldi yesterday brought. He's got Paladin, Dragon Priest, Druid, and Mage. We haven't seen the Mage, and his Priest is banned today. Eloise has got Paladin, Druid, and Warlock, and her Warrior is banned. And we do know that Kaldi's Paladin is a standard mid-range from yesterday's play. So how do you see this matchup? It's the Druid versus Paladin becoming sort of the new Druid versus Patron. It's the match you see in most matches now.
Yeah. Well, generally, just speaking ladder-wise, aggro Druid has the leg up against the mid-range Paladin or Secret Paladin, but if it's mid-range Druid, then I would give the advantage to any Paladin deck.
And Indra?
Yeah, I think against like I think the Paladin is favored, but not by much.
Yeah,
And not when it's like mid Paladin. I think Secret Paladin is more favored against mid Druid.
Yeah, for sure.
So, with the mid Paladin, what are the key cards that the Kaldi will need to draw to get into this game? Is it just anything that controls the board?
Yeah, you just need just play on curve exactly. Cards like Keeper of Ulderman is really good to like deal with the Druid of the Claw or Doctor Boom. Like some people have even caught Big Game Hunter because they play double Keeper in mid-range Paladin. So it's kind of like Big Game Hunter is better on a big target, but like Keeper of Ulderman is kind of more flexible.
And as we
I
see
really,
here,
like, I really like that new card, Keeper of
Yeah.
Woodman. That card is good.
do you like it in all the Paladins or just in the mid range?
I think it really belongs in only the mid range. You could also put in Secret Paladin, but I mean, there's only so much room, right? You need to have all the doctors in the deck, right?
I think it's worth considering over Blessing of Kings in like Secret Paladin. It's like sometimes Blessing of Kings is better, but I think I like it. It's more flexible.
Yeah.
The Keeper.
Yeah, I found that's why I asked the question. I found in the Secret Paladin that the Keeper is sometimes a little bit slow, a little bit clunky. Where obviously in the mid range it's amazing because in the Secret one you almost always use it on your own guys, because if the game's gone any longer you tend to be behind or tend to be looking for a bigger influence on the board. But in the mid range you're much more happy to be controlling the board, so it's a much better fit.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. When you have 2 options, you're like if you play it in Secret Paladin, you technically only have like one option most of the time. So it's like it's better when like both options to use it defensively and offensively are like more viable. So that's why I also like it better in mid Paladin.
And Kaldi here is doing, as you guys said, just curving out really nicely. He's going to boom this turn, and then he can do a lot of what he likes next turn. He's going to have to control the game though, because Eloise does have the full combo in hand already, along with other damage such as swipe, but she doesn't seem to have any way of actually getting on the board at the minute.
Boom on Summit is not bad. Not bad at all. But Eloise does have the perfect answer to Dr. Boom in her hand. So she plays.
So, getting the mad scientist drop there, kind of ironic for Kaldi as well. She's rather like that in the other paladin. And I know she's got to work out how she exactly wants to go about this. Getting something to stick on board. Obviously she wants to get that Sylvanas to do something, but not the easiest task she's got here. So she'll be thinking about, obviously she wants to get the BGH down, she'll want to use the swipe to clear at some point, and at some point she's going to have to stop taking face damage as well, but not yet. She wants something to stick so she can start threatening to get the combo through.
Yeah, she can actually clear board here pretty efficiently.
Yeah, and she still has a pretty high amount of HP, so she can take a little bit of damage here.
And yeah, that's what she does. She just chooses to do the board clear, use the BGH to do his job.
Nice.
And an assist. And there you go, one board.
Yeah, and this sets up for lethal if Kaldi doesn't do anything.
Mm-hmm.
And he doesn't have any obvious looking answers either.
What can he even do here? Like, if he elders one, it will be 21, I guess.
Yeah,
No, it will be 22 because hero power.
That's right, that's right.
Because of
so he
force.
can't even play around lethal here. So it's just over.
Dead, yeah.
And yeah, so Eloise is going to take a 1-0 lead. Kind of from nowhere there. Like a minute ago that looked like Kaldi had curved really nicely. But Thorsan doing its job, allowing the extra point of damage as well from Eloise. All the right answers in her hand. And yeah, planned the turn before. Takes the 1-0 lead. Kaldi doesn't even wait to see the Savage draw.
Yeah, it's great to see that Dr. Boom actually might have lost in the match because the BGH swing was way too hard for him to deal with. You don't see that very often.
Yeah, it's nice to see.
Match.
Nerf to 6-7 needed, obviously. Druid Mirror, we talked about this a little bit yesterday with Crane and Indrin. Ryzen, do you think the game is as non-skillful as people make out, or do you think if both players get into the game, there's actually a lot of skill in the Druid Mirror?
The Druid Mirror, well, we all know it's about wild growth. Wild growth and maybe even innervates. Also, Ancient Allures are very important cards. So yeah, you have to mulligan for those cards. But I mean, it does take a little bit of skill to know. For example, when to attack with Shade. That's one thing to know. Like usually you want to attack it when it's 5 attack. That's when usually players do it. But yeah, I mean, we see both players have wild growth, so they're both obviously very good Druid players. Both have.
Nice. So obviously, when you do both get this start, does it then become more skillful after the luck phase of the game, if you like?
Well, usually, I mean, just before turn 5, it's really straightforward. After it goes to the later turns, you do have to think a little bit more. That's when it becomes more skill-based, I guess. Yeah.
Cool. And why would you keep the Shade until 5? Is that simply to play around swipe, or is it just a key number in the whole matchup?
Well, just from watching the great Druid players like Strife Crow play the deck, they usually attack it on turn 5. I don't really know the reasoning. It does. You want to attack before the BGH turn, and I guess it gets a 2-for-1 trade when it's 5 attack. Usually.
Also, if you keep it on turn 5, it's kind of inefficient for the opponent.
Yeah, very true. Okay, similar starts by both players here.
Yeah, Shredder versus Shredder.
Actually, the exact same starts by both players.
And Thorsan in the hand of Kaldi, we see Eloise does have another Innovate. So both are going to have even more mana efficiency later on, which will obviously help them both.
Yeah, it's looking good for Eloise, but Kaldi has the coin Starson, which is also going to be really strong. think you just hit face here.
Smork. There you go. Wow, are we gonna see? Okay, I was gonna say if you played the Druid with the Claw, it was literally the exact same turns for like the first 4 turns.
And
Okay.
when you're playing against a druid who Thor sounds, I always find it really difficult, not to keep track of it, obviously you can keep track of which cards, but to plan in your mind, it messes up your mental curve of what your opponent's doing, I find.
Yeah.
You know they can do 2 quick things. Mentally, you've usually got in your head, they didn't do this on turn 5 because the mana didn't work, and suddenly your brain's got to think in a level it doesn't usually think to on Hearthstone.
Yeah, I think some people gets too scared and like starts playing around the worst possible outcome.
Like double combo and stuff like that.
Yeah, start playing suboptimal
Yeah.
when they're not really that far ahead.
Yeah, because usually Thor-san obviously just dies, he's done his job, and the cards are in your hand, like you say, that they're one of the combo pieces you can usually assume has been lowered because it's a card you don't play in the early game, but...
Shredder positioning, what are you doing?
Oh,
I really hate when players do that. It's like, it doesn't really matter that much, but it does matter a little bit.
Yeah, it hurts me too, but like I just started commenting on it because it's getting a meme at this point.
yeah.
Pretty much.
I just never commented on it anymore.
Yeah.
It is amazing though how many players do put it on the right when it's in the wrong place. Like I agree with it being a meme. Being an arena player, it terrifies me whenever I see it. But if you put it on the right, it's always incorrect. If you put it on the left, at least then it's correct in Shaman, in sort of zoos with direwolves.
Right.
At least then it's got a reason. But on the right hand side, it's like
It's not always incorrect on the right. Let's say you play against the freeze mage and you have like a lot of high attack on the left and you have some low attack in the middle, then you place it on the right.
So you put all your high attack on the right together for no reason. Yeah, okay, fair enough. But the left is
Play around Cone of Cold, that is.
sorted it out now though. And it isn't that important, let's face it. It's, like you say, it is a bit of a meme at this point.
Is she gonna innovate Keeper here? I mean, Keeper is kind of a bad card in this matchup, so...
Yeah.
Just killing the 3/2 seems reasonable.
Yeah, at this point, whoever establishes board control usually will be the one that takes the going. So, Innovate Keeper looks good here.
Yeah, because there's not, like you say, there's not many other targets at this point. Early on, you might want to target your own aspirant or something to stay ahead, but that time has gone. So
We also saw a lot of people actually playing Sylvanas and Druid. So that is worth considering.
Yeah, we saw it from Eloise in the last game, so I think it's 100% of people have played it that we've seen so far in this portion of the tournament. So Sylvana's coming into favour. Any idea why that might be? I mean, obviously she's a good card, but why the sudden change?
Maybe it's because the meta could become more controlly with the Reno decks. I'm not sure. I would personally not use it, so I can't really.
Right, that always makes it difficult when you.
Yeah, to argue why they put it in.
Lou's just trying to work out her ordering here, I think.
Draws a card first. Okay. Huh. Not going for the Ancient Allure. It's just has to clear the board.
Yeah. I guess with this hand, with having the wow, that's one way of clearing.
Okay.
Yeah, but it's not good for Eloise. She would rather want like a 2 toughness minion so she could play the Nasus afterwards.
Yeah.
That's why she didn't hero power the 4/1 the Shredder down, because she had a weak 2/1 anyway, so she just wanted to trade that into whatever comes and play the Nasus.
So it's cost her the board basically, that coming down.
Play a taunt, play the Nasus, hero power. Well, he's already seen a swipe, so maybe he wants to play Living Roots as well.
Yeah, like I wouldn't mind it.
Yeah.
You also have to think like, well, what if, or even like, is it not worth just playing it just in case she doesn't have second swipe? Because it's not like a good card in this matchup anyway.
Yeah.
The Raz
Also-
is gonna. Sorry.
No, I was just gonna say. Also, it might represent that he might already have combo in his hand when he really doesn't. But it's kind of a bluff in a sense, right? Which it could make her play differently.
What do you think about charging here, Ryzen?
I think it's very ballsy, and I like it.
But still, Eloise is still really, really on high life, and he doesn't. He maybe think he just needs to get the damage in now if he's gonna have a chance, because Eloise has so many more cards in hand.
Yeah. Also, his hand too is not too great, so at this point he has to just top deck into force into Savage or just into more damage.
Yeah, going charge there does mean that next turn he can set up lethal if he has combo, which we know he hasn't. But as you guys have suggested, Kaldi when you assess that you're losing a game at this level, your chances are that you just go face and try to get lucky, right, rather than sit there and play any sort of grindy game. So the extra 4 damage plus the extra 7 next turn does set up 14.
And Eloise doesn't fall, so she could have. The only way she could play around combo there was healing my own face, but she doesn't make the losing play.
That's a great draw.
Wow. Kaldi has had prolonged bad sort of draws and things in this tournament. That's pretty grim.
Oh man. Okay.
So the problem with that for me is that now he doesn't seem to have any like sustainability with no cards in hand effectively. If he'd gone phase there, he'd be facing all sorts of losses, but at least he'd have a chance of top decking a Savage.
I forget. Does he run Ancient Allure, Kaldi? I forget if he does. Because if he does, he still has a chance, I think. But if he doesn't, I don't know. Looking pretty grim.
Well, it is a standard mid-range, I think. So
yeah, with like 1 living roots, I think. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, because we've been trying to work out what living roots comes in for, and maybe it's one of the Azure Drakes, which would be obviously quite bad right now. Mm-hmm. Or maybe it's a swipe or a rough. Eloise spoiled for choice here. Just I think she now knows that she's so far in front that all she has to do is just not get unlucky to a combo. So she'll try to clear and set up lethal all at once, and that's what she does.
I like that. Yeah, doesn't put herself into combo range. That's good.
Because now that she can see from what Kaldi's doing that something's not right over there. She wouldn't be sure exactly what. And next turn she can Druid the Claw just for defense, go face and set up the lethal. Um, 3, 4, 5. So is this just Druid of the Claw for taunt and then use the Keeper to kill the BGH and just say you can't deal with that, you're a Druid, you don't have that sort of removal?
Yeah, I like that. It's defensive and offensive at the same time, as well.
Because like you said earlier, you don't really need the silence anymore unless there's like an Ancient of War hanging around that we haven't seen, but even if there is, you can get through that and play Boom next turn, so... Ouch. So she's okay.
Oh. Yeah, I guess she's still safe with combo, even with Innervate Hero Power if she does this play.
Yeah, puts on the 16. I was just thinking about losing the Mana Crystal, but yeah.
Oh, he does play Ancient Allure. Okay. Well, let's see what happens. Let's see. BGH and Wrath. That'd be the best draws. Okay, he didn't get it.
And...
That would have been pretty sick, though, if he got BGH and Wrath. I would have loved to see that. Innervate Swipe. Yep.
just in case, yeah, that is now the easiest lethal we'll ever see. Both bots going face with chunks of damage. Eloise take anyway, she goes to win. And she takes a quick 2-0 lead. And Kaldi is down to his mage, which we haven't seen, so which mage will he want that to be in this setup?
Tempo mage or
Tempo
like
mage,
make mage or tempo mage. Not freeze mage.
Yeah, freeze mage would be kind of messy, and it's one of the reasons that Druid is played so much, of course, is to make sure you have some defense against a freeze mage lineup.
Yeah.
Amongst other things, obviously, control warrior. Although, Ryzen, what do you think of the control warrior matchup these days? Just while we talk about this, I'm talking about the whole Druid thing, as Eloise might be sweeping with Druid.
Control warrior against Druid?
Yeah, is that closer than it used to be?
No, because Darnassus. Darnassus made the matchup a lot worse for Druid. And it's kind of a staple now, because it can easily be countered by Fire War Axe. If a Druid plays Darnassus and a warrior plays a Fire War Axe, they immediately get tempo for like the rest of the game. Because usually warriors have the perfect answers because they have just so much removal in their deck. So the matchup is not as bad as it used to be for control warrior. I'd say it's still in favor of Druid, maybe like 55-45, but it used to be like 65.
Yeah, that's sort of what I was asking. It's like it was just one of, outside of the freeze mage type nonsense, it was one of the more one-sided matchups, and like you say, it's not quite so one-sided now, I don't think either.
Yeah.
We are just waiting for the next game to start.
Yeah, Kaldi just had like a in-game DC, so he reconnected again, so the game went on, but he just had to restart his client.
Okay. All wood.
So if he does get through, let's say it is with a good mage, then he's going to have to take down Paladin. We don't know what sort, but Secret Paladin seems to be the deck that everybody brings, apart from
Flavor of the month.
But
Eloise also brought it last time.
And she
so
brought it
it wouldn't be surprised. Like, why change it now? I guess for the element of surprise, but Secret Paladin is just such a strong deck to bring.
We're now back in.
It's like a freeze mage. Oh man.
Reno freeze mage as well.
Well, he doesn't have. He's gonna struggle, but he can still win this. For sure. He gets good draws.
Yeah. Well, the good news is if he managed to beat the Druid, Paladin should be a good matchup.
Oh yeah, for sure.
And then we don't know what the Warlock is, but
most Warlocks are also good matchups for freeze mage.
Yeah.
But Eloise hands, like, one of the ways for freeze mage to win this is for the Druid to miss a few steps, as we saw yesterday, but this is not a bad hand for Eloise to choose from here.
Yeah, you kind of have to hope the Druid just doesn't have a good curve going on. Luckily for Kaldi, well, actually, I see the wild growth, so.
It's interesting to keep the Druid of the Claw with the wild growth. It is.
Oh, he kept it. Oh.
Yeah, she kept it. Yeah, it's really, really conservative.
Yeah.
I usually tend to mulligan for like 3 of. I will keep like a shredder, but usually I won't keep like a 5-drop with it.
Maybe
Druid of the Claw, in this matchup, it's really good to charge it most of the case. You don't want to taunt it.
Yeah.
Especially when you play it like early, you always charge it. Later you can, maybe not when there's like a loop order, but later you sometimes you just taunt it to play around Flame Strike and AoE. But if there's like no board, you usually charge it against freeze mage.
Guess in a match where you are a big favourite, then it's certainly an option to mulligan less sort of aggressively. Just make sure you've got something to play near the start of the game and so on. Just to make
that's
sure
definitely an argument for
it doesn't go completely wrong for you.
It.
Whereas in a bad matchup, obviously you've got to go for the exact curve and so on. But just make sure you've got a turn 4, turn 5 play here, so you don't just get.
Eloise's hand is really, really great. She has Loatheb key card in this matchup. She has the combo and she has Boom. Even as Silence, it's like almost the perfect hand from Eloise. It's gonna be really hard for Kaldi.
It's definitely pretty good.
And Kaldi, on the other hand, sitting there on Thorsan, which is all fine, but you don't want it yet. You want to sort of reduce the cost of your combo pieces and a bunch of stuff that stalls. And You don't want that either, really. You want your card draw to draw into your Alexstrasas, your Fireballs and stuff, make them cheaper, get the combo off, get the Scientist down, get the block, and he basically got nearly none of that.
Yeah, Kaldi's hand size should have been a lot bigger at this point of the game. It's not good enough only to have 4 cards in hand against druids. Against any decks for that matter with freeze match, you always want like a big hand size at this stage of the game.
Yeah, you've actually got out hand sized by a druid who has played Wild Growth. Yeah, you're up against it.
Wrath for 2, draw a card. Okay.
Just in case you needed any help developing next turn or two, just get the Emperor. It's going to be really difficult for Kaldi to fight back here.
So important thing about that turn was like usually you want to kill card draw first before you kill a Scientist, so like there's a chance they can't draw the secret from the deck, like a bigger chance of that. But if Eloise got a playable drop she could play, she might consider that instead of hero powering. So
true, like a Shredder or something.
Yeah,
and just like she just drew.
Yeah, spoiled for choice here. These are sometimes the turns that take the longest time when you've got so many good options that you just want to make sure you don't make a mistake. Kaldi, on the other hand, having to get the Emperor down just to put something on the board and just to give himself a chance to play multiple cards.
Yeah, it kind of made Eloise do a really suboptimal turn here.
Yeah. Okay.
She really wanted to get that boom out.
Yeah. Because she hasn't made that much progress. Obviously, her hand is fantastic, and she will make progress very shortly. Guess she just has to weigh the options up for the Thaurissan. She'll take a minute to decide which, I would have thought. But Boom is green.
This is definitely a very good Thaurissan hand, so I mean, either play looks good to me. But I think you play Boom here, it's more aggressive.
Yeah, you can already play combo next turn. Like, if that second force was the raw, I would probably go with Thaurissan, so you can, like, double combo on 9, but I think Boom is better here.
Alright.
So, Kaldi now he has got the Alexstrasza, so at least he can dream of setting up some sort of win. He has still got a high enough life total to have a chance of some sort. Obviously, we see the double force, the raw in Eloise's hand, which is really going to make it difficult for him.
That 7 damage Boombots hurts.
Yeah.
The reason why Eloise traded with the Scientist with the Drake the turn before was because to play around Flame Strike Ping would be a board clear. That's 9 mana, but she knew that Kaldi had Thaurissan cards, so Kaldi had a Thaurissan Flame Strike, she could still do the play on turn 8.
Okay.
Yeah, reduced cost double combo in hand as well now for Eloise. Plus reduced cost minions and a Lotheb just in case Kaldi had any dreams of stopping it.
I mean, Indiran said it earlier, she really has the perfect hand that you would want against a Freeze Mage as a Druid player. It's really crazy.
And I don't think Kaldi's had a Frostbolt yet, or a Doomsayer. So even if he draws the Reno, he has no way, like, from that point of view either.
Yeah, she has heal. It's just oh man. That's brutal.
It's also interesting that Kaldi doesn't Iceland flowers, and he's just saying, "Oh, fuck it! Like, let's just pretend those a million cards in Eloise's hand is nothing, and then we Alex and maybe kill her next turn."
Yeah, one of the hardest things to do in this game is realize you're in so much trouble that you have to play deliberately terribly, just to try and find any like strange way to win the game.
Yeah, it is such it's so psychologically stressful because you're just thinking and all that effort just put into finding that 0.1% chance to win the game. It is so hard mentally.
Because you have to think, and you have to make plays that you know, especially when you're on a stream, you know people are watching going, why has he done that? Well, you've done that because it might give you the runner out to victory that you
I like this by Kaldi here. He's got to do it.
Yeah.
Do this and then just find a way to do 15.
He could have went for the more defensive play, obviously, using this 7 mana Frost Nova, but I definitely think this is better. I mean, you got to go for it. You've seen 3 Emperor Thaurissan turns. With a full hand, pretty much. You gotta
Yeah,
go for
Eloise's
this.
combo can do something like 28 plus something. At the
Yeah,
moment.
she just gotta do the math so she can like pop at a decent level. I'm 100% sure she can just clear the board and pop at a good place.
Yeah, that's what it looks like.
But she just gotta do the math.
I'm trying to work out how much damage she can do. She can do 28 plus the powers of all the minions, I think, which is another
Gosh, she has so much damage in her hand.
30.
Oh my
She can do
goodness.
something. If there wasn't,
Oh my
if this is
God.
just annoying, she can do like 50 something damage here. It's just ridiculous.
Yeah, Ice Plug. Unfortunately, it doesn't care about that.
This is a clever way of propping the top.
She fits in the lore, which is really important here.
Yeah, that's
And
huge.
she had to play the lore, so I
And
think
she's
she was contemplating whether she could do something at force, so she had to use the roll.
she's managed to keep both forces back, which is really a clever idea here
Oh.
to make sure that she's
It's a
got
little
the
slight
charge
misplay.
in
That's
twice.
okay.
Yeah, she's worked out she can do it on 6, which is absolutely fine because of the 2 forces. It does mean that Reno is some sort of out if Kaldi can get through. I think he needs a Frostbolt still. But...
I mean, she would take that damage from the minion anyway, so I think she might as well have popped him at 1. But I don't think it's gonna matter because she has 2 forces. So
Yeah, that's alright. And plus, both ice barriers were used already, so it's okay.
Kaldi can't pick up that Flame Strike that would have at least meant that he gets one more turn with Flame Strike block, but the block just sort of means Eloise can just wait a turn, basically. What's his plan here?
Kaldi might go for some play with Antonidas. Just like freeze the board in the face and just pray that Eloise doesn't have force.
He plays Antonidas into block.
Yeah, he's gonna go for it and just. I think it's the correct play, not to play around.
Yeah,
force.
I agree. Yeah. Well,
If you'd played a block there and got the Antonidas down, then if he top decks Frostbolt, he would have had 21 damage in hand. Is that right, or am I miscounting?
so Eloise with the sweep.
Eloise with the sweep and goes to 2 and 3 in the league, and Kaldi goes to 1 and 5, unfortunately, which will probably mean that he well.